Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm heading to my sister's house to help her with an IKEA hack project for her bedroom. She has some slope ceilings that make it a little bit difficult to install a regular wardrobe or a PAX. So this project is going to be a little bit different than my previous PAX wardrobe hacks because we're going to be using IKEA Sektion kitchen cabinets to build out the base, and the goal of mine for this design is to make it look like a paneled wall, but when you open it up, it's gonna have so much more storage than what they had before. If you're new here, I am a designer and self-taught DIYer. I'm most known for IKEA hacks like this PAX hack behind me. I build them out so that they look way higher end, but at a fraction of the cost. So that's what we're gonna try and do for her this weekend. It's gonna look so good. I can't wait to take you along. And normally my projects I do completely myself. I love that, that's my passion. But when I go and help other people with their projects, I don't want to be responsible if something goes wrong, especially when other people's money is involved. So I normally like to get them involved. So this weekend, my sister's husband's gonna be helping me, and he is pretty handy, so I think that it should go pretty well. I've worked on other projects where I like help and teach them as I go, but I think it'll be a lot more of me being able to just tell him, hey, this is what we need to do, and we can just go for it, which is great. I already drew up the designs on SketchUp, which I will show you, and I think you're gonna like seeing the time lapse. They've already ordered the stuff, and I got him to put together the cabinets, so it should be a pretty quick weekend project, I hope. Also, I just had an eye surgery recently, so I actually can't lift or bend the way that I normally would. So it is also very helpful that he is doing this with me, because otherwise we would be putting this off a lot longer. Also, I just like to mention, since I am self-taught, I am not a professional. If you see something that maybe you're not sure about for your project, do your own research, reach out to professionals. I don't want to lead anyone astray. Like I said, this is a DIY, figuring it out as we go. And also, if you want more details than what are in this video, I also have a blog post, which I will link below, where I have listed out all of the steps, included more pictures, and I think that if you wanted to attempt this project, it would be best to watch this video and read the steps so that you get the full picture. You're not missing anything. But if there is something that you're not sure about, you can also leave a comment down below or on the blog post. And if you haven't already subscribed, I would really, really appreciate it. This is a space in their bedroom where they want to add a built-in wardrobe or some sort of solution. It's right down the end of their bedroom. It's got slope ceilings, which makes it a little more difficult, and that's why it's not just a typical install of a PAX wardrobe or something like that. I wanted to take you along in my thought process when I was drawing this up on SketchUp. This is the free version of SketchUp that everyone can use on the internet. I don't have a lot of experience with this one, so you may see some struggles. But I started by drawing out the space so that I knew what I was working with, and then drawing in the 2x4 base that I always do for these types of built-ins. I was talking through this project with my mom a few days before I drew this, and we decided that kitchen cabinets would perfectly fit the space, specifically 3 36-inch wide base cabinets from the IKEA Sektion line, and then if we added the 2x4 base, we had enough space to fit a 60-inch door that would attach to those cabinets. And then we would have to figure out some sort of structure to attach the upper hinges to. At this point, we knew that at least 2 hinges could go in the base cabinets. And then I was trying to figure out what I could do to provide enough structure for those upper hinges. And I think here I'm trying to draw some sort of 2x4 structure, because the thickness of the sides of the lower cabinets was exactly the same width as a 2x4, providing enough structure for it. And then we were trying to see if we could add in some extra shelves in the upper section. The lower section, because it's an IKEA kitchen, you can add in all sorts of things. I think I just went with shelves in this. And then the upper section, we weren't really sure, but we were just hopeful. And then they ideally wanted some hanging space, so I figured we could just buy the IKEA PAX bar and cut it down to fit the space. So in this plan, you can see where the rod is. and how it's quite a bit lower, but when we actually went to build this, we were able to give it some more space. And then you can see here, I'm just playing around with the SketchUp kind of library of decorative pieces and furniture that I added in just to make it look a little more realistic, because I was sending this off to my sister so that she could kind of understand what my plan was to make sure that it was what they would like. Here is where we're at. So my sister's husband Jake built all of these cabinets, and we are going to build a 2x4 base, which I usually do for these type of projects, to build it up a little bit. We don't have too much height because we've got these 60-inch doors, so once it's raised up, the doors will just have a little bit space. We might put some trim, and then there's about 1.5 inches on either side. So we're just kind of taking it step by step and doing that base first. We decided to remove the baseboards from the wall just so that we can make sure the cabinets pushed right up against them. We built this base out of 2x4s, and the ideal structure for this is that every point where the section cabinet would hit the floor should be supported by 2x4s. So in this particular one, you'll see that we had 2 10-foot 2x4s that we cut down, and then 4 pieces of 2x4 that ran from the front to the back, which is exactly where the cabinets would have hit the floor, just to make sure that it's structurally supported. I usually make a 2x4 base so that you can add baseboard to trim everything in once the project's finished, and I think it gives it a higher end look than if it was sitting on the floor. But in this case, also the doors would be scraping against the floor if you didn't include a base. We've got these just dry fitted on top. We've got to level them all because it's an old house, so it's not perfect. And then we've also decided, because there are gaps along the side, what I think we're gonna do is 2x4s perfectly fit down the edge. So we're probably gonna do a 2x4 from the base all the way up to the ceiling, so it'll be cut on an angle, and then it will be flush with the edge of the cabinet, and then some trim will go in here after. That will make it flush with the doors when those go on, because the trim should be the same thickness as the doors. So we're still trying to figure things out. Then we're also going to attach these to the wall rather than use the rail. We just decided no point in using the rail, it'd be fine to just attach it to the wall, save some money. And kind of the same thing with the legs. We decided we like the 2x4 base idea better.
Could you try?
Future me here. I just wanted to explain that we also checked how level this was, and it was very much not level. So you can see we took some shims and we just popped them under so that it's more level. And we double checked while we were doing this that the door was gonna fit. But all of that's gonna be covered up. We decided we're gonna have to go back to the store tomorrow to figure that out, but we didn't want to have to like cut something to get it in the car and then it not work and not be able to return it. So we decided that is a finishing touch for tomorrow. Everything is attached, and then like I said, the 2x4s perfectly fit, so we've got that in. We haven't attached it yet, and then we have, I think, a 1x6 that's perfectly gonna fit here, and it's a little bit cleaner, and that is what this upper hinge will attach to, and then the 2 lower hinges perfectly attach in there. Maybe not perfectly, but they're gonna work. Then we went to the store and got some of these shelving boards. So they're already pre-finished white for shelving. We are gonna put 2 here, all the way over to here. This section we're gonna do hanging. So we have some 1x6s that we're gonna put here, all the way up, probably to the ceiling. And then somewhat similar on this side with a 2x4 behind, so they've got some hanging space. And then this is all gonna be shelving. We're gonna try and hang another shelf a little higher up. We could not find any shelving that was 24, so that's why we're gonna do 2 12-inch boards. We just thought it was a bit nicer for it to be pre-finished the same as the material of the closet. We decided to take off these front supporting brackets, and we're just gonna screw the shelf into it because we think that provides enough support, and we'll screw them in. Jake is just out doing the cutting, which is kind of nice to be able to like help plan it all, but have someone else do some of the heavier lifting for me. So we got this top in place. It is secured, so that is perfect. Now he's just going to get the pieces to go on here that are just a little bit nicer, and because the door, we need the hinge for up here to be, you know, in the same place. So that's why we're just adding that on. Plus the piece of wood's a little bit nicer. So we're gonna do that. Then on this side, you can see here we took this all the way to the wall, and we're gonna put some trim, especially along the back. But over here, because we wanted to do the hanging rod, I think what we are gonna do is put a bit of 2x4 here to build out this section so it's flush with the edge of the cabinet. Then I had brought some of this from home. We just had it, and we're gonna try to somehow template, I think, here, up, and back so that there's no gap. I don't know, we'll see. Got this piece in, and same on the other side. Jake's just cutting the bits for the rail. Here's where we left off yesterday. We are back today working on this. So we've got these that are gonna go up here with some brackets for the doors to attach to, and same for right here. Then we are gonna try and cut one of these boards and paint it to go in here so that no clothes can kind of drop over. We're gonna get some trim to go along the back, probably along here and in here, and then I think maybe build some little shelves for like cologne and that sort of stuff. I brought some paint so we can paint the wood so it's white. I think we should be able to finish today. So once these are in place, and we gotta cut the rod and put that piece in, then I think we can attach the doors, and the very last thing will be the trim for the baseboard, and then putting the baseboards back that we took off yesterday. So I think we're in pretty good shape. And then they bought a bunch of the IKEA shelves to go in here. And then we also have those little covers for on there to put back. We just went to the store to get some more trim and the last bits and pieces, and my mom painted what would potentially be visible white so that we were in a good place. I feel like I haven't explained much about this yet, but where the 2x4s in the middle sections of the cabinets are going into the top of the cabinet and into the ceiling, we used brackets. So in the ceiling we used wall anchors, and then into the 2x4s just to provide enough support so that the 2x4s would never come loose, and they're nice and strong for those upper hinges of the cabinet doors. So you may have seen in the time lapse we added a board here so that no clothes are going to fall through. Some trim and some caulk. We'll probably paint these. So right now we are just cutting the shelf that's going to go here. We're going to attach that next. Then we're going to cut some cord around to fill that back gap. That's what we decided to use, and probably along here just to clean it up. I caught this rod earlier, so it is ready to go in. And then we also got some more trim to cut and go here, along here, and then we're gonna put some little tiny shelves in. Then once that is finished, we can go ahead and put the doors on, then the baseboard and the little bit of trim that's gonna go down the side. We are making some good progress. So we had, because we had bought, I think 96-inch boards, we had some cut off. We ended up deciding to put them underneath to support the shelf. So we got on either ends, one of those, and then we decided to move this one back and put it in there. So now we've got that nice shelf. I was just working on filling in the gap, and then also this is just placed here, but we're gonna do some little tiny shelves for, like, I don't know, perfume, things like that. May as well use the space. Then Jake's just cutting some quarter round for along there. Then we can put up the rod. Then we need to work on putting the doors up, and like I mentioned before, the hinges don't perfectly align because this is a pack store and this is a kitchen closet or kitchen cabinet, so that's what we gotta figure out next. But things are looking good. They're gonna have so much space. I think the time lapse died, but I'm just trying to quickly stage a photo before we lose some light. You can see the blue peeking out because we got to put the trim on. We've got to do some caulking and some paint, but look at how good this looks. Let me pop out the zoom. It just looks like a paneled wall now, and once we caulk it, it'll be even better. Still got to put the shelves in the bottom, but look at all this storage that they've got. So you got two sections like this and then the hanging section. And we said they should put some light in, so we'll see. And they got a little painting to do so that we don't see these brackets. And I also suggested they put some like drawer liner here or something, so you can hide the brackets and hide the joint potentially. We got the caulking done, the filling. I think we need to touch up the paint, but look at how good that looks. So we ended up putting about a quarter round at the top. Basically, we realized the two hinges would go into the holes in the cabinet fine. We obviously knew we'd have to drill holes there, but the hinges at the top basically had to be at a certain point, which meant we had to add that quarter round. We put it in with some brad nails and caulked it, and I think it looks good. And then we've got the baseboard running along the bottom. Looks so, so good. And then they're gonna add some handles, probably similar to what I used on mine, just the little hidden ones. But I think they might do that later because we all need to kind of get moving. So it just looks like a paneled wall now, and once we caulk it, it'll be even better. So when we were attaching the upper hinge, we decided to replicate what IKEA has in their cabinets. So we pre-drilled holes the same size as the ones in the IKEA cabinet, and then there's a little cleat that you press in and screw in tight and then clip on the hinge, and that's how we did it. Guys, didn't that turn out so good? I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. I think that it maybe exceeded their expectations. I knew it was going to turn out good, but I think it's different when you actually get to see it and everything coming together with the trim, because there's always things that could go wrong with sizing, but it worked out really well, and I'm really happy with how the inside looks. Initially in the SketchUp plan, you probably saw that the hanging section was only going to be in like the section cabinets, and we ended up being able to raise it up, which was great. And then I'm glad we were able to find the melamine shelving for inside. I love it. I think it looks great. I love that it looks like a paneled wall. I didn't get to see the closet filled with all of their stuff. They sent me that video after the fact, and they were able to get all of their stuff in, and they still have so much extra space. We were jealous because while we have this closet, this one still needs to be done over here for more hanging space. So maybe we'll eventually get around to that at some point. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, let me know. And thank you for watching all the way to the end. I really appreciate it.